ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first episode of the new Lazy Koalas podcast. We're here, we're queer, except the last part, and I am your host... Alright, I am your host, Commander Radix. With us today is Ultrox Infinity.
If I could rearrange the alphabet, I probably wouldn't.
Right, exactly. It's perfect as it is. You know, don't if it's fixed,
fine. Just leave
it. We also have the Lays Boy.
If I could rearrange the alphabet, I would put you and I together.
A critic of the alphabet system.
You're getting sued.
Oh, hey, can we cut that out?
Editor note, cut that out, please.
And we also have Cody the Miradew Samurai.
If I could rearrange the alphabet, I would get rid of you.
And so you just have the other letters, but not you.
Yeah, that's true. I'd get rid of you. Alright. And, yeah, today we're here to talk to you guys. We're here to just talk about... This is our first podcast in a long while. All of us are going to be rusty.
Is this season 3?
And what is this, actually?
If we're doing seasons, I guess it's season 3, but I don't want to burden people with continuity.
I don't think there is any continuity.
Yeah, it's true. But, fandom. Let's see. I should have got a definition of fandom to start us off. What's the Urban Dictionary?
More like FANDOM, am I right, guys?
Oh ho!
Yeah!
I bet an Urban Dictionary for fandom would be like, instead of using like a condom, you use like a fan and you have it on a high power setting, and so you just blow everything that's coming at you into you.
Oh.
So it's not, hey,
that's a good idea.
Patent pending.
No.
Take.
I don't think that's particularly good.
You have a fan at the end of your dick that blows the semen right back into you.
You know about those USB fans you plug into your phone? It's kind of like that.
God.
Right. Well, all of those were a lot more creative than the actual Urban Dictionary definition. The top definition is run away, and never look back, which is a terrible definition.
I was pretty close, I think.
I think you are kind of close, yeah. Just maybe a little bit in the wording.
Maybe we define it as ourselves as the culture of a pop culture.
A culture, I might be able to see that. Ultrox, do you have a fandom definition?
What are our definitions?
Do you want a legitimate one, or...?
Whatever you want to go with.
It's just the... You can cut this out, right? No, it's the community of fans around a certain thing. That's what it is.
That's exactly what I said. I think it's plagiarism.
Uh-huh.
No, yours was worse. You can check the tapes.
Cody,
you know what? I'm not a fandom of you.
Wow, editor, cut that out.
Cut that out. Do you have any particular definition of fandom you like to put out there, Cody?
Nah, Ultrox is pretty much what is on point.
Hell yeah.
On fleek.
Wow, okay.
Is that what the kids say nowadays?
On fleek.
That is what they say.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So, fandom. Is it good? Is it bad? I could lead us, but if anyone wants to take the floor here.
I think you should do it.
Okay, let me just take a moment to cry about the Transformers fandom.
I am.
I have a lot of experience in the Transformers fandom, and my experience in the Transformers fandom is why I hate the very concept of fandom. Like, my blood boils when I think of several people coming together to talk about something they like. There's nothing worse than that. There's nothing worse than that in the universe.
That's why Transformer Lore stopped the first time.
That's one of the reasons, yeah. I guess one of my biggest issues with fandom is it kills individual thinking. One issue with the Transformers fandom is once, like, an opinion comes into the mainstream, like, everyone who's part of the fandom becomes a hive mind. And they're like, oh, you like Transformers Energon? That means, you gay. And, it's just, if you voice any opinion that is against the masses, then you just come, they just come crashing down on you like massive waves. And, like, oh, I have an original opinion. No, we're going to shoot that down. Original opinions are allowed when something new pops up, but then in about a week or so, people have developed, this is what the fandom stance is, and if you believe anything different, our mindless hordes will kill you.
Wow.
I think that's more dependent on which fandoms, because the Kerbal Space Program fandoms are really wholesome. But I think a lot of the game fandoms are more wholesome than like anime or show fandoms, really. I don't know why. Maybe because his games are more open-ended, maybe?
Really? I would say that I've had a generally good time with the anime fandom. And with the games fandom, it's a little bit more... well, when I think of games fandom, I think of kids on Xbox Live playing Call of Duty and the type of things they say in it. I thought gaming fandom was like... And this is a general blanket gaming, you know. It's always going to be different from game to game. But generally speaking, I think that... I was under the impression that gaming fandom was, like, terrible. They even, like, make fun of it in, like, a little bit in Endgame, you know, with the whole Fortnite scene.
If you zoom out far enough, I think any fandom looks bad.
Yeah.
I think it's depending. Some of the fandoms are really wholesome and nice, and some are just toxic as all hell. Like the League of Legends, I think is supposed to be really toxic.
I hear that a lot too.
Like MOBAs in general.
I think Overwatch actually is supposed to be one of the less toxic MOBA fandoms.
That's some Blizzard propaganda, probably.
I found Overwatch pretty hard to break into.
Yeah.
Is that just because the game is actual like people?
There's lots of like any online multiplayer game has like,
the people who play it.
Yeah, I guess I'm more of a hashtag casual gamer, hashtag not a real gamer, because like the moment someone starts talking about who you main in like pro strats, the moment people start talking about a game like that is like, it's no longer fun for me. Like, whenever a community, I guess the fandom of that game becomes like a big portion of it is dealing with meta strategy and stuff like that. I'm like, I just want to go do my own thing, man.
You've ruined it at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I think actually a lot of the indie games have better fandoms, or at least less harsh. Kerbal Space Program, Dwarf Fortress, Factorio, all of them have... the fandoms seem... I don't know how to explain it, but they're not toxic as the like LOL, Dota, and all them. I don't know if it's just because it's more niche and the people feel more connected. Actually, now that I think about it, a lot of the more toxic ones are like PvP more, aren't they? So maybe,
yeah.
So maybe PvP games are more toxic fandoms, or for some reason.
I think the more popular something is as well, I think the indie aspect of it does help.
Yeah, because more popular something is, the more trolls will be attracted to it, I guess.
Just naturally.
People, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Back when I was in high school, like most of my friends were like really into the Kerbal Space Program game, and they were. I would what's the word I'm looking for? Characterize them as like nerdy people who are really into science.
Right.
And I think those are...
I don't got the patience for those games.
Yeah.
That's true. They tend to do their own thing. Maybe it's because that game supports more of doing your own thing. Maybe that's the case.
Creativity.
But is there any other game that promotes creativity more than Minecraft?
Minecraft's fan bases or fandom is weird.
Minecraft is a mixed bag with their fandom, if you ask me. There's a lot of trolls, but there's also a lot of like wholesome people and stuff like that.
Yeah, Minecraft's weird.
You see Minecraft from the outside, it's just a bunch of kids playing, and then But I've known people that literally create computers inside of Minecraft that are able to do functions and stuff. It's crazy.
I think that's probably just because Minecraft is just so open-ended. You could do literally anything. You become a god if you wanted to. Go to the moon.
That's what Cody
And
does
I
with
do.
Minecraft.
You constantly go to the moon. Now, I think I will concede that there is some good things that can come out of fandom. Like, what I'm thinking here is more like, I really love the Elder Scrolls games, but I don't think the Elder Scrolls games I would be playing as much if it wasn't for the modding community. That side of the fandom that, like, creates stuff like that. Can we determine how good a fandom is based on how much it creates versus how much it's just discussion within itself? Like, have we found a missing link here? Like a new discovery?
I'm not I think that's a part of it, but I don't think that what could be just describe fandoms as like a blanket state, whatever. I don't think you could completely link that to if it's good or not. It's just another aspect of whether or not it's good.
Now, I know Ultrox was part of that Call of Duty community once upon a time. What was that like? How would you gauge the Call of Duty?
Not only
It's
was
weird
he
looking back
a
on that I was a part of that.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Did you have to deal with a lot of kids, or was it mostly young adults? Because you edited for most of them, right? Like a clan?
Yeah, most of them I'd say were teenagers, but
Okay.
yeah, I was in many a clan.
Yeah. You've moved around a lot.
So many clan tags.
Yeah.
I even went to participated in my clans, sort of. They would go into private games to get clips with each other, just like trick shots, and I helped them out with that before. It's weird. It's like just people spinning around until they eventually hit someone.
Are they just talking, or is it like
Yeah, we're in a party.
again?
It's very awkward.
Oops.
I'm just sitting very silently. Like, I'm an editor. I don't do this. I was introduced to that from a friend who was also an editor, which I met from Left 4 Dead 2, which was a community I'd been a part of. Valve games, I'd say, unless they're free to play, have a pretty good community of fandom.
Like Portal 2 kind of stuff?
Portal 2 has a small dedicated... The thing is, like, most Valve games have modding support, so maybe there's the link again.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is cancerous.
Yeah.
Looking back on the more creating you do, if that makes the fandom better. I just remember that, like, fan art is definitely a form of creation, and, like, I know that there was a whole lot of controversy with Steven Universe when one person's fan art led to many to pressure them to attempt suicide or something.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if I want to know.
I don't know.
I
the
never
full
heard
details.
of that.
I hear a lot of bad things about the Steven Universe fan base, but I have not heard about that.
I was on Tumblr when it happened, like really big onto Tumblr in those days, and I didn't even follow any Steven Universe blogs, but like the moment that happened, there was like a rippling effect. Like everyone on Tumblr at the time had heard of this suicide. I'm not sure if it was an actual suicide or a suicide attempt that someone who they drew a Steven Universe character. It was one of the characters that was body positive and thick with 2 C's.
Hell yeah.
But they drew the character with a more conventional, normal beauty standards type of body. That led to the Steven Universe fandom to sort of going on the attack, and then the artist either attempted or fully committed suicide. I can't remember.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That was my Tumblr years.
Were people just like bullying them?
Yeah.
Like death
Like
threats
calling
kind
them-
of stuff too, or?
Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
It's Steven Universe. All the themes of
This thing
death
that's
threats
on like a
and
Cartoon
Steven
Network show.
Yeah, accepting of all people.
Right.
Except, yeah.
How
You know.
dare you ever try to think of them another way than what they are? They're perfect.
You just start sending death threats to Rule 34 artists.
Right.
You talking about the Steven Universe thing. Does anyone remember the Zootopia abortion comic?
I was thinking of that one.
What in the world? What?
Yes.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a big meme, remember?
Right, Loss. Or, well...
Lost? What are you talking about?
It's based on that comic strip.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the Zootopia character. That's good though. I like that.
It's funny.
That's fun stuff right there. Let's put up on screen. Are we doing that? Is there stuff on, like, screen? What's happening?
We have that kind of technology, but probably not that kind of patience.
Okay.
There'll be sometimes, but don't, like, expect me to do it, like, 100% of the time.
Put up a picture of a polar bear eating a fox.
No.
But then put the fox
Okay.
with a tiny polar bear.
I will put up the picture of the freaking abortion comic, but I'm not going to put this random animals that have nothing to do
Just
with
mosaic
the
blur it.
conversation. Right.
You might have to Photoshop it. I don't know how often that happens, but
Yeah, that's true.
Nightclub used to do this to me because I would edit the DeadFett Productions videos. He'd challenge me to edit something into the video. It's like, and I'd be desperately searching Google to try to find what he wants.
what do you want?
I can't find this. This isn't on the internet.
It's like, make it on the internet.
Find this obscure picture from a book that I read when I was 5.
Hey, you found
Now-
that banana thing, right? It was in that.
Banana?
It was in that Dead Space thing. Remember?
What?
I think with the.
Oh
anime.
yeah, the anime.
Yeah. Put it on the screen.
I don't even know what you're asking me to put up on screen.
It's an
put a
anime where a
random
girl
banana.
just was sucking lots of bananas.
Yeah.
You've
So,
probably seen it, right?
No.
You have to find it. It's your challenge.
Just go download my Dead Space video and use that.
Put the whole thing in there.
So, here's a question. Has anyone here been to a convention?
Conventions.
I've been to a Transformers convention and an anime convention. And let me tell you, even though I hate fandom and I hate the idea of a convention, whenever I go to a convention, there is this energy in the air. And I have to say, it's probably the closest I've ever come to feeling the same thing the gays feel during gay pride parades. When you're surrounded by other people like you that you don't typically see on a daily basis. And it's just,
Right.
it's such a weird,
I can see
it's such
that.
a weird feeling.
Feels like home.
I want to take a
It
step
does.
back though and ask you: was the Transformers convention? Was it TransCon?
It was TF Con.
He arrived at TransCon and realized it was for something else.
Wait a minute, this isn't the right place. Let me go back. Wrong hotel. I think there is a TransCon.
Oh, I hope there is.
Probably.
Certainly. What kind of booths do they have at TransCon?
They got a little hole in them, you know. That's right.
I was about to say.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
So
moving
the only
on.
other people that have been to a convention aren't in this podcast. Nightclub and Droidcore have,
It's true.
and I think
I'm pretty
probably
sure
Twisted.
Twisted
I think
has,
Twisted
too.
did a cosplay thing or
cosplayed.
something. Yeah.
It was the energy at TF Con that eventually fueled me to start Transformers Lore. Because for some reason, dealing with people on the internet is so much more terrible than dealing with the same exact people IRL, in
Right.
a room full of them, and I don't understand why. I have no comprehension of why that is the case.
You know what happens when a poor Transformers fan goes to your YouTube channel? They just see that you hate them.
Yeah, yeah, it's a problem. I don't hate Transformer fans. I hate the concept.
The
I hate
ones.
that. I hate that. I hate this group mentality that's perpetuated by fandom, and that even though I like Transformers and I make Transformers content, I consider myself to not be part of the fandom just because I don't hold any of the opinions the fandom does. But just by the virtue of me liking Transformers and making videos on it, they just assume I'm part of the fandom and I want to be part of that. I don't really want to. I want to do my own thing.
Well, you could see how they could be.
I definitely
confused.
could see how that... Yeah, but like I said, that's why the fandom just shouldn't exist, and we wouldn't have this problem.
Like you said,
But,
he does not hate.
Right.
If it just
I hate
didn't
that
exist,
they-
though.
I
I hate
that
the
they-
idea.
I hate that I'm grouped into the fandom, and I hate the commenters that are bad. And there's going to be
fair.
bad commenters on anything. It just so happens that I get mostly bad comments from Transformer people given my content.
Do you think you would ever give the opportunity be given to you? Would you ever be a panelist for like Transformers lore or a Transformers convention?
All right, first,
Dealing with the fandom right there.
First, I would say yes, but also, seeing as I've engaged in multiple fights with members
They're gonna
of
beat you up.
IDW or Hasbro staff, I don't think I'm necessarily welcome get to be a panelist at a
The
convention.
Transformers bad boy.
I like to see that.
Here's a question. Do you feel like you belong to any fandom currently?
Well, like I said, I
Question
don't
to
like
everybody.
Yeah. Well, I don't really like the idea of fandom. When I do something that I like, or I'm a fan of something, I'm definitely a fan of it, like, on my own terms. Sometimes I'll look up to see if anyone's talking about what I like, and then I'm like, oh, wow, where did these people come from? And then I just back up. Like, I don't really... Transformers is the fandom I get exposed to the most because I make videos of it. But for the most part, I try to stay out of the conversation.
I guess I would probably consider myself part of the Pokemon, right? That's all I can think of, to be
Really?
honest.
You? Never.
Right? That's really all I can think about, though, is that I would be.
I'd say that's the closest thing.
What about you, Ultrox?
I feel like I no longer belong to any fandom. I feel alone and sad.
Right?
You're not
How do you
part
feel
of
about
the
the
Deadpool
fandoms,
fandom?
I used to be, not anymore. Haven't read a Deadpool comic in a coon's age. Cut that out.
Well, I actively use the term Coon's Age in my videos. I'm cutting it out. I encourage the use of the phrase.
Luckily,
Cody?
Twisted isn't here. Whew.
Yeah.
Also, Assassin's Creed, I've fallen out of that. Call of
feel like
Duty,
most-
no. Left 4 Dead,
feel-
no.
I think most Assassin's Creed, like, fandom, like the classical fandom, have dropped out at some point.
Yeah.
You know, the hardcore Assassin's Creed fans, they're on my side. They don't like the new games either. Like, you go to a YouTube comment section, it's like, this is an Assassin's Creed.
Like, 3 was where it started. It stopped.
But, like, weird thing about Assassin's Creed fandom, like you said, like, Transformers, like, it's universally, like, hated, as some things are, inside the lexicon or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like Assassin's Creed, there's defenders of, like, every game. Like, the general population hates Assassin's Creed Unity, but Assassin's Creed fandom loves it.
Yeah, I've noticed that, like, I'll see people give, like, these are my top 5 Assassin's Creed games, and there will never be anything in common between the lists. I'm like, oh, okay.
But, you know, I think that's pretty nice.
Yeah, to allow a diversity of opinion, as opposed to, oh wow, you like freaking Assassin's Creed 1? Gonna kill you right here and now.
Although, if you were to bash Assassin's Creed 2 or Black Flag, you'd probably be roasted at the stake.
Oh, really?
Well, you know what? Black Flag is one of my least favorite games.
Hell yeah,
Editor,
preach!
no, cut that out.
I don't know how to drive a ship.
Well, first of
Well,
all,
you see,
don't drive.
you're doing it wrong.
Cody, do you belong to any fandoms?
I guess you could say the Fate, like Fate Stay Night and all that, and Darling in the Franxx.
How do you keep up with the Fate Stay Night crowd? Like, I thought it was like a meme that it's impossible to get into Fate because of how much stuff and stuff that are adapted, stuff that aren't adapted, stuff that are adapted twice for God knows why.
Actually, I only very recently got into the Fates. I watched Fate Stay Night way back, close to when it first came out, but I haven't until recently watched any of the other or done any of the other stuff involved in it. So I'm barely involved with the Fate series.
I've never personally known someone that took the plunge themselves. You brave soul.
But other than that, that's pretty much the only ones I'm actually I wouldn't say involved because I don't actually do anything other than read the Reddits, but
Reddit, that's a hive of
villainy,
fandom, I guess.
It's really all fandom.
You're right. Now, I was watching a lot of the E3 conferences, and you know what I noticed? Like, these game companies will come out, and I would think E3, this is a game stuff. This is, how do I want to word this? You would think the fans would be sitting back, hand on their chin, thinking about stuff as they, being, skeptical and cynical as these people talk about the new games. But the E3 people are like, yeah,
They were clapping at the most mundane things.
Pitch anything you possibly can to me. I will give you money. Like, it's not the fandom I see online in regards to games.
There must have been a prompter.
Yeah, there's it's prompter. Like applause.
Cheer. Scream.
E3 crowds are an anomaly to me. I don't understand where these people came from and where did they go.
I think it's that you have to pay money to get in there, right? Probably a lot of money to be close to the microphone, too, right? So you're probably just like, I paid a lot of money for this, I love this company, I'm excited. And then it's like,
the pinnacle of hype.
Yeah. You're there, there's like the president of Nintendo there. You're like, this is awesome. There's a giant Pokeball behind him.
You go see a movie in theaters, and usually it's better in the theater than when you think about it later.
I would have to give an opposite reaction to movie theaters. Because there's so much that can go wrong with a movie theater.
What?
Theater going? Because you can sit,
like a shooter or something? What do you mean?
Well, yes, I guess, given the Dark Knight, but you could have a terrible seat. You could have babies in the crowd. You could have... And I like quiet theaters. I like to enjoy the experience by myself, but like people laughing at jokes that aren't funny just really get me.
You see, Radix is the type of guy to go at like Tuesday at like 12 p.m.
That's when I go, yeah.
No, go Sunday.
That's when I go,
I don't know if, for me...
It's
all moviegoers are in church.
So Sunday, early Sunday...
Wait, are you serious?
At church or either at a restaurant after church. There's barely anyone there unless it's the Sunday.
Okay,
I guess you guys do live in the Catholic
Cody
South,
is in the Bible Belt. He's in that Georgia. He's in the compact, dense Christian state.
I have nothing but atheists up here.
Yeah, so you can't just go on Sunday morning. It's not the same.
Radix lives in North Carolina. It's not as
good old boys
religious down here, but it's still pretty religious up there.
Cody, are you a fandom of the Dukes of Hazzard?
I've never watched it.
Cody, are you a fan of God?
I'm not, actually. I'm a critic of God. At least the biblical part.
What do you think is his most worst decision? What do you think? I would have done things differently if it were me.
I mean, there's the flood. There's the abortion potion. There's the time he told them to cut out the fetuses from pregnant women and crush the fetuses. There's a lot of stuff actually.
Cody knows more about God than I do. Man, this God guy seems pretty messed up.
That's really a lot of the only bad stuff I know that I can think of off the top of my head that is direct from God or whatever. I know that Lot slept with his daughters. Well, rather, he was
Hell
date
yeah.
raped by his daughter. I think it was Lot. His daughters got him fucking smashed and had sex with him and got pregnant.
Wait, I thought he was like omniscient, like he wasn't a real person. What do you?
No,
Lot.
not God.
Oh,
Not God.
I was like, whoa, what's happening here? It's 21 years on.
This podcast has turned.
Then there's a lot of just contradictory and confusing stuff in the Bible, like you shouldn't eat, I think it was shellfish, and then you shouldn't wear clothes made of different types of fabric, like cotton and polyester blend, which it didn't really say polyester, but you know what I mean. But, so pretty much everyone that wears a cheap Walmart shirt is committing a sin. Well, not a sin, but, yeah.
Alright, guys, let's get back to E3.
So, E3.
Say about E3. Yeah.
Let's get back to it. Silence. Okay, listen, has anyone been paying real attention to E3?
Not at all.
I've only been paying attention insofar as sometimes I watch a clip if I think I'm going to care, and I keep up with the memes and I read headlines for news articles.
Yeah.
I know that there's a Fallout 76 Battle Royale, and that Keanu Reeves was there for Cyberpunk's
2077.
Yeah, the
That's all
Battle
I know.
Royale thing is... People went crazy for that in the audience. Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought people really hated the idea of that when it was like, oh, Fallout
It's an
76
awful idea.
It's all Battle Royale.
I don't
Then it
think-
turned out not to be. And then people were like, it's happening again. Like, yeah.
Like I
don't
said,
think-
these E3 people are aliens. I don't know where they come from, and I don't know where they go.
Now, do you know anyone that actually liked Fallout 76? I'm not talking about someone that just didn't hate it. I'm just talking about someone that liked
Isn't it like a buggy garbage?
Yeah.
Trash.
Yeah,
I
boring.
watched one YouTuber whose name I forget. I think it's like Kev Do It or something like that, and he absolutely is like pumped. He is hyped for like I have never seen someone with so much positive energy towards Fallout 76. It's ridiculous, and he like
I think he's
streams
getting-
it as game. Yeah, that's
He's getting
Never
paid.
seen someone with
Definitely.
such little taste.
Yeah.
While we were speaking of Fallout, I was really disappointed with Fallout 4, story-wise. The mechanics, I liked.
It's like
But the
6
story
years
was
old,
poor.
right?
4-year-old.
Yeah, I'm just... that's how disappointed I am 4 years later or whatever.
I think most people were disappointed, but it wasn't that bad, and it's all they had, so.
It wasn't that it was bad, it was just disappointing. Like, it had good mechanics, it's just...
Did you like the
mainly
settlements?
story. The settlements I kind of like, yeah. It's, like I said, the mechanics and stuff were all pretty good. It's just, like, the story and stuff like that.
There's a
was
settlement that needs your
rushed.
help.
My two
That
largest
wasn't-
issues with Fallout 4 was the voiced player character and the very limited dialogue system that they had.
The limited dialogue, that is also one of the worst parts of it. Mainly because a lot of the times, two of them would just be the same thing. One would
Yeah.
just be the same thing in a different type of
It's
voice.
yes,
and the other would just
no,
be no.
silence, and then something
Yeah.
else like maybe or whatever.
Sarcastic.
Sarcastic, that's
Pretty
what
much
it is.
And they had like no real option. Like the voice things just like gave like very few bits of information that was going to be in the actual dialogue. So you thought you might be saying something nice, and then you hit it, and then you just like insult the person you're talking to and their
Yeah.
family. You know, like that's not what I meant to do at all. But whatever. Okay, now.
And in typical Bethesda fashion, the people you talk to are voiced by like a handful of people. Like there's like probably 8 people who are like the general voices throughout the game, and that's who you have to listen to the whole game.
You know, that never really bothered me for anything.
Really?
I'm
Those
just
Nord
like, okay,
voices
I
are
can,
always fun to
I can
listen to.
accept that everyone sounds the same.
Yeah, I didn't particularly have problems with that, mainly because I know it was a kind of a limitation for an open world game, but
I like it just for the meme whenever they repeat dialogue.
Yeah, that's good.
I used to be an adventure like you until I took an error to the knee.
No!
Gosh.
It's 2019,
Stop him!
Cody.
Ezra, note, cut that out.
But apparently there is a big fan base for Fallout 76 somehow. It's a decent size.
Real.
People are still playing it.
And aren't they introducing human NPCs now? Wasn't that one
Yes,
thing they said they didn't want to do, and now they're doing?
A sales point for it is now
Yeah,
a sales point for the DLC.
We have new DLC. Something that you would assume would be in the base game. I heard that Sims 4 is getting gender-neutral bathrooms. I'm like,
hell yeah.
I don't remember how often I sent my Sims to a public bathroom anyway.
Doesn't everyone just get the life trait perk thing that makes it where you don't have to go to the bathroom anyway?
Yeah.
I've never
Enter
done
a note, cut that out in this statement explaining it. I think that might be.
Blaze really thinks the editor note cut that out thing is like the deep pinnacle of comedy.
Lace still thinks this is the Commander Radix fan podcast.
Wait, this isn't. I don't understand. Thought we had a special guest. Season 2, right? I've been waiting years for
eventually.
this. That's my fandom. I forgot to mention.
Yeah,
it,
we're
that
in
is
the
my
Commander
fandom.
Radix fandom.
The Commander Radix fandom.
Yeah, this is the Commander Radix Phantom podcast.
Thank you for coming,
No,
Radix. We're happy to have you as a guest. Please
I'm glad to be here.
Do you think that's weird that there are actual people that I don't know if they do anymore, but they used to be fans of you, Commander Radix. You scared a lot of them away.
I scared a lot of them away, but I still certainly have some.
You appreciate the
Commander Radix
hardcore
fans.
ones.
I really do appreciate the hardcore ones. Like, if you are listening to this podcast, then you are definitely...
You're in the club.
We're
Yeah, you're
speaking
the
to
best.
Tursal Picks.
Post a
and
comment below.
Anyone else, I guess.
You wanna know what's
Like
weird
and
to me?
subscribe.
I somehow still have 112 subscribers. I don't know how.
Corey.
People are waiting for the comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I'm
I
in the Cody
appreciate
fandom.
the Commander Radix fandom.
You don't think that's weird that they're fans of you?
I think it's natural. Like,
Like, who would be a fan of you?
okay, now where are we going with this? All right. Is there anything else we want to say about fandom?
Oh, are we wrapping it up?
No, we can go into the subtopics, like I said. If you were listening to my little briefing I was giving at the beginning before we started this.
Full disclosure, I barely pay attention to what he said.
Like a true fan.
Amazing.
Alright, sure, let's get into it.
Okay.
All right, who's got some subtopics they want to talk about? Anything else they want to bring up?
Let's talk about how often this is going to come out. And when's it's actually going to come out.
Weekly. Ideally, we're shooting for Sunday releases.
Okay.
I'd written
Look
down, like... Go on,
No, okay.
sir. Also like the Commander Radix fan podcast.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, my fellow host. So, next week, stay tuned for a Pokemon podcast. We have currently 6 at the roster.
It's a spoiler!
Editor, no, cut that out. We currently have 6 on the roster. We had 5 today, but, Twisted didn't work out. In typical Twisted fashion.
You know what? Fuck him. He's not going to listen to this. Fuck you, Twisted.
He probably won't. You're
Understand
right.
what's happening?
Oh, nothing. Don't even worry about it.
Don't even worry. I'm on the pod.
worry
I'm on
about
the
it.
same podcast. Don't worry about
This is just the behind the scenes stuff. You wouldn't need to concern yourself. It's me and Old Sharks kind of dealing with
see.
it.
Uh-huh. So, again, does anybody have any topics?
I did write down, like... What do you think are some shining examples of really good or completely toxic fan bases or fandoms?
Kerbal Space Program is a good one. They're really wholesome and helpful.
I think Rick and
Steven
Morty is
Universe.
seen as completely toxic.
Yeah.
That's the example that everyone says.
Yeah, them, League of Legends, I think those are pretty toxic. Dwarf Fortress is really kind of nice and wholesome. Their fandom.
Cody's listing things that nobody's ever heard of. Is how you get past it.
Yeah. Factorio, they're pretty nice. War Sim. Let's see.
Stellaris.
Oh, Paradox. They're like the Hearts of Iron and
That's because they're all nerds.
Crusaders, they're all
be
fairly
aggressive toward each other.
Yeah, those are good.
Oh, you didn't like that?
Let's see. Rimworld, that's a good one too. Rimworld.
We're just listening off what's in Cody's library.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd take a while. I'm almost at a 1,000.
Doctor Who is a pretty mixed bag.
Every time I meet a Doctor Who fan in real life, I'm like, oh, okay.
I feel like it's become more and more toxic in recent years.
I don't know. Yeah.
The same goes with, Supernatural.
Supernatural.
Dreadcore's
Dreadcore's in both of those
He's
fandoms,
online.
and he's not here.
involved in that fandom.
Why did I know that Dreadcore was both of those fandoms? He's online, but he didn't sign up for this podcast. I guess he has nothing to say about fandom. He doesn't know what fandom is.
Dreadcore probably is the most, in a fandom of anybody. He, goes and argues with people on the internet.
Does he?
About fandoms. The thing I know about Dreadcore is that he always tries to pick fights with people.
Well, why is Dreadcore like that?
Why are you like this?
See, if he jumps in here, we're going to have to yell at him to get his audacity out and turn it on, or else he's just not going to be heard.
Star Wars fandom has gone through a crisis lately, but I think it's on the rebound.
Star Wars is an
a
interesting
Star Wars game that they talked about
At E3. Seems reception was pretty meh for it.
Really?
I don't really see anything about that Star Wars game that's strikes out as something great to me. It seems like a lot of cutscene stuff, and whenever a cutscene heavy game comes out, I'm like, I could just go onto YouTube and type game title full movie and get the picture whenever it comes out.
Looks very much like Uncharted 4, but Star Wars.
I think I talked about this with Ultrox yesterday, but I hate... when I saw that there was a new Star Wars trailer, I'm like, oh no, that just means there's going to be years and years and years of YouTube videos. I can see the thumbnails already.
It's true. Star Wars lore channels get a real big bump. That's also a fandom that looks like it's never going to end.
Right. I think at some points the MCU fandom can get a little bit tiring. Although I mostly interact with the MCU fandom on Tumblr, and Tumblr is just a different sort of breed of fandom.
Yeah, it's very casual, I feel like, for most
MCU
of the people.
fandom was a lot of normies.
It's like, oh, I'll go to see this movie. I didn't really care for the, going to see Captain Marvel, so I just didn't go. Just people who are, with their kids. Oh, God.
They heard you talking about Marvel. A lot of memes come out of that MCU.
A lot of memes.
Mostly Thanos memes. He's dead. There's no more memes, right?
He'll never.
That's a spoiler for a month-old movie. Probably 2 months, maybe. I don't know.
Oh fuck! Editor note: cut that out.
Remember when we spoiled The Empire Strikes Back on the very first Lazy Koalas podcast?
I remember Dreadcore spoiled Star Wars, and Lays had to cut it out. I think he spoiled The Force Awakens when it came out.
Editor note: put that clip in.
Oh no!
I don't think I'm gonna do that. I do not think I'm gonna do
all
that.
the different stuff.
I will. Yeah, I will put images up occasionally. I'm not going to hunt down video footage. So Steven Universe's fandom's pretty bad. We established that.
Nightclub watches Steven's Universe.
You know, I watched a few episodes of it, and I thought, this is fine, you know, but it's just the fandom surrounding it is like, oh, no.
That's why I don't go on the internet.
That's
enjoy what I want to enjoy.
I wish we could all live like that.
I feel like as I've grown older, I just don't care to interact with other people. I just enjoy my things, don't enter the fandom anymore. I make fun of Bionicle Lore every now and then.
Have you gotten anybody like, I was hoping for actual Bionicle Lore yet?
You know, I think they just did the thing where they saw the title and retweeted it. They didn't actually watch it.
Probably.
Oh, really?
You know, they're like,
I think they subscribed to me on YouTube, though.
It's kind of like how I tweeted out the hashtag Pride Month thing and linking to my video awesome. where a gay KKK member tried to take over Dominica. And like, there people with the rainbows in their usernames are like, reblog now. I'm like, it was a gay KKK member, guys. Are you sure we want to be retweeting? Like, yeah, solidarity.
There's got to be some, right?
There's lots of white supremacist gay people. Just, you know.
Who would have known?
That's a fandom I want to be a part of. I cut that out.
Gay white supremacists.
Oh no.
Listen, I think we're good. We don't have to go the full hour, I think we're alright. Let's see.
Alright, that hits the subtopics. The next thing I want to hit is that we are going... Who knows if we're ever going to get any feedback for it, but I want to contain it in every podcast until then. We will be opening up to questions from the audience. So if you have a question or a topic you want us to talk about, tweet at it at the Lazy Koalas Twitter.
Disclosure, I'll answer no questions.
with hashtag Ask Lazy Koalas. That's hashtag that's hashtag Ask Lazy Koalas. If you have a question,
Ask Lazy Koalas.
Have a question for the group, if you have a topic you want us to talk about, feel free to tweet it at us, and I will curate it. So if there's like a terrible question, I'm not going to bring it up. But
I did, but
when we get good, you have something, Laze? Oh, I forgot what I was saying. But if you have a good question or topic, we would have our question segment here. Right,
is there a certain kind of limit? Right.
I'll ask you a question. You ask me a question.
See, the thing is, we are on the podcast. We do not need to tweet the questions at the Lazy Koala's Twitter account. All right. So, from the question section, plugs. This is our part of the podcast where we plug up some of our content we're working on.
Plug up our holes.
We want to, plug in the podcast. I'm going to plug the Commander's Cabin podcast. If you like the Lazy Koalas podcast, and you think, wow, I really like the Lazy Koalas podcast, I wonder what it would be like if everyone just shut up and Radix was the only one who talked, then you will love the Commander's Cabin podcast. I actually recorded the Commander Radix, the CC podcast today, CCP? Number 2. So this is my second podcast I'm doing today. But that should be out by the time this video's out. So go ahead, go listen to it. It will be in the links in the description. I'm going to try to actually have relevant links in the description this time. So that's my plug. It's my podcast where I talk about whatever's in my life and I decompress. There's already one episode out at the time of recording this podcast. By the time this one comes out, there will be 2. Both of them start off with me describing something that was very painful that happened to me earlier that day. So if you're squeamish, skip like 7 minutes ahead.
What in the world?
It took me like 7 days to get past the first 5 minutes of that video.
So, Ultrox, you have anything you want to plug for this
Yes.
podcast?
So you've seen the Lazy Koalas podcast. You've seen the Commander Radix Commander's Cabin podcast. I'd say check out the Commander Radix fan podcast.
I second this sponsorship.
But this the one that had one episode years ago and didn't continue?
Yeah.
Listen, we we're on
hiatus.
a bi-yearly basis, all right?
A bi-yearly basis. Holy crap.
Yeah. You see, what you don't know is that me and Ultrax are going to combine just ours from this, and we'll make that the next episode.
Jesus Christ.
So it'll be minutes of silence, and then we laugh, and then it's like he starts to talk about something that's kind of silence again.
Right.
That's how it's going to work out.
That's an amazing podcast idea. I hate it. What, are you taking notes? Are you, writing that down, make sure to do that?
Write that down.
It's like that one episode of Doctor Who.
Alright. Lays, I assume you don't have anything to plug?
Skip me. I'll come back to me soon.
Okay. We only have one person left, but Cody, do you have anything to plug?
No.
Okay, Lays, I'm coming back to you.
Oh, God.
Have you made anything within those 50 seconds?
I want to give a shout out to Food City. They provide a lot of keto friendly foods, such as solar bread, which has a mere 3 grams of net carbs per slice.
This is
Editor
fun.
note, cut that out.
We need to do a keto podcast, and so many of you guys do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so many of us really do that.
Oh.
I don't know when the last time anybody else has really kind of stuck with it.
Well, people have experience with it. That could be content.
I tried to bring up a dieting thing years ago, and nobody participated.
This one stuck though for the most part, I guess.
Let's just diet in general. We can talk about Radix's very poor diet.
Right?
Radix's lack of diet.
Right.
Anti-diet.
Anti-diet. So I believe that's about all
Pockets and M&M's.
M&M's, right. I haven't had M&M's in a coon's age.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
2019. You can't say
You
that in
can't
2019.
say that.
We need Captain America in here.
Do we?
He's retired, sir.
Yeah.
Spoiler!
You just, whenever a spoiler or something comes up, you just need to go bing, put in the sound or whatever. Just
Well,
censor them.
It's like you do the beep, but you don't actually cut it out. You just had a beep to the spoiler.
Yeah.
It's copyrighted.
Right. Make it so loud that you can't hear the other words.
Make it so loud that it makes them not hear anymore.
Right. No spoilers then, right?
Uh-huh.
So.
Radix desperately wants to end this.
If we keep talking, he can't end it.
Alright, peace, love, and positivity. That's what I always say.
Hey, no.
okay,
Sure,
so thank you very much for listening to the Lazy Koalas podcast. We can only get better from here. With us today are Miridu Samurai, The Lays Boy, Ultrax Infinity, and Commander Radix. Links to our channels and social medias are in the description below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Lazy Koalas channel for more podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter for updates regarding the Lazy Koalas community and to see new releases from every member from the Lazy Koalas. And last but not least, don't forget to join the Lazy Koalas Discord server. Link is in the description. We need more people in here posting memes.
We have a Twitter.
Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.